All right. I hope you guys can hear me. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the channel, UStride, the new format. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear my audio? Let me see if I can do things here. Yeah, so this is, once again, welcome. Welcome to the live, whoever is here. But this is a new format for me because I was supposed to start a little earlier, around 9:30, 8:30, 9 o'clock. But setting up the live like this is a little bit more difficult than I thought. You know, there's like OBS and all kinds of stuff, but I scrapped the OBS and I'm like, you know, I just do it old school. So I just went and used StreamYard with some videos and et cetera, et cetera. Either way, I made it work. We're here now. That's all that matters. I'll figure out the rest of the stuff later. But tonight we are going to discuss how can we justify another expensive EUC? That is the question we have to ask. How can we justify, how can you, if you're going to purchase one of these new amazing wheels, can justify another expensive EUC? I mention it because, you know, a while back we were saying, wow, I know some people were saying that, you know, if the price goes to a certain point, I'm not getting it. Well, guess what? The price has gone to that point. And I'm very curious to see who or how many people are actually interested in purchasing these expensive machines. And what's worse is that the basic foundation of what an EUC is supposed to be, meaning portable, et cetera, that's just out the window now. You know what I mean? It seems like what we want is what we want, meaning we want speed, we want range, we want durability, we want all these things, but you know, they've compromised in the portable area. Before, I used to be very proud of the fact that I owned an EUC, because the idea was to make an excuse for not having or not needing a car. And for a while, I didn't have a car. In fact, I didn't need a car. I'm sure a lot of you felt the same way. And when I bought my first EUC, what car did I have? I think I had a Ford. It was a $500 car. And I really didn't. Oh, thanks, man. Thank you, Andreas, for saying you hear me. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I realized, wow, okay, $500 car. The only reason I got it anyways, because winter was coming. So at the time I had a moving job, and I worked at a moving company, and it was all the way in Watertown. And I remember at the time I had a Tesla. I bought my Tesla. And the first time I jumped on that Tesla coming from my in motion, I think V5, and then from the V5 I went to the V5F. I was like, wow, this V5F is amazing. But then it didn't take me long to get used to that V5F. I rode it everywhere I possibly could. In fact, I used to carry my charger with me. If you look at my older videos, you can see that. But eventually, getting a better wheel, a more powerful wheel, being that is the Tesla, I realized, whoa, like there's a whole new dimension to electric unicycles. I was always afraid of getting a more powerful wheel, mainly because I felt I was going to hurt myself, and I wasn't going to have time to experience more electric unicycles. But if you're new to this, you probably feel the same way I felt back then. If you're not new, then this is just old memory. You know what I mean? But anyway, the point is, hey, Andreas, you retracted your comment. Does that mean you can't hear me anymore? Anyway, the point is, after jumping on that Tesla, it was a little bit more expensive. I believe at the time it was $1,450. Yeah, $1,450. I think it is still $1,450. But the point is, I got it at $1,450, and it didn't necessarily hurt my pocket, my wallet. But at the same time, I didn't feel, I was robbed in any way. I did not feel that, being under $2,000, being way under $2,000 was ideal for me. So getting the Tesla was a plus for me. I loved it. My gosh, I created videos on that thing. I rode that thing I brought it to New York, of all places, with guys who had even more powerful wheel than that at the time. And it was just a great wheel, and I could justify it. Because it was still portable. It was still a very portable electric unicycle. Okay. So for those of you still coming in, thanks for joining the live. This is a new format that I'm trying to make happen. But anyway, the topic of discussion tonight is in the title. Can you justify getting another expensive EUC? I mentioned expensive because primarily, $3,200 for the eye-catching watered, I don't know how you say it, but water, mouth dripping, I don't know, KS20. And then you have the, ridiculously fast and rangy Commander. But so back to the story, my Tesla was, although it was $1,450, I could still justify it. I could still say, okay, I just spent $1,000, you know what I mean, on that wheel. And not only that, it was still very portable. Now, fast forward to today. Actually, fast forward to last year. The Sherman came out, and it gave us everything we needed. In fact, I took that wheel in one of my videos. You can see I took that wheel, rode it from Dorchester, because I worked all the way in East Boston, and Winthrop basically. But I say East Boston because I went through East Boston. But I worked, I worked all the way over there, which is like, I don't know, like 15 miles away or something like that. it was pretty far. More, I think it's a little bit more than 15 miles. But the point is, I tested that wheel from Ewheels, and compared to my, you guys are gonna hear some water because I'm literally in the basement right now, so bear with me. But you know, the one wheel I really, really liked prior to the Sherman was my Tesla and the MSPs, my 84 volt MSX, etc. Now, the interesting thing about the 84 volt MSX is that it became a little bit heavier because of the 1600 watt hour battery, but it wasn't so heavy that I needed to worry about weight that much. It was still manageable. So it was still teeter-tottering in that heavy range. You know what I mean? But it was still manageable. I got used to it really fast. The cool thing about the 84 volt MSX is that it's 84 volts. So even though it's not capable of giving you a lot of torque compared to the 100 volt EUCs, the 18650 cells, batteries, and I guess it's a configuration. There's 4P and 6P is more details. But that version of the 84 volt MSX actually, believe it or not, gave me more range than my future purchased 100 volt MSP. And that is because of the configuration of the batteries. I was just reading about that. The 84 volt can give you, more higher cruising speed, and give you more range as a result, because there's not much, crazy peak power being drawn compared to the 100 volt MSX. So if you want to consider, you just have to say power equals voltage times current. So the more power output you have, obviously you're going to drain your battery a lot more. But the 84 volt was that beautiful, beautiful in between, I felt, between my Tesla and the 100 volt MSX. Now, here's the thing. After getting the 100 volt MSX, it was still not, it was still around the area of the 84 volt MSX. It wasn't too heavy, but here's the thing. It was fast. It was ridiculously fast. The pickup was crazy. The high top speed was amazing. But what was bad was that the battery was just drained. It just drained the battery a lot faster. I felt. I'm not sure if that's just because of me, because there are not exact metrics out there to determine weight versus, whatever, wind and all that. There's so many variables to consider. But the thing is, for me, I could consider that because I drive the same route pretty much every day. So I started seeing, whoa, like they're increasing the battery size, because the 18650 versus the 21700s, which is in the 100 volt MSX, you're starting to inch around the heavy range. And then they came out with the Nikola, and then after that, the Sherman. And I'm like, holy moly. I'm not mentioning the Monster because that's just a heavy wheel. But then the Sherman came out, and the first time I got it from Ewheels, dude, you know what happened to my car? I had a $500 Ford Escape, and the brakes was going, okay? It didn't go, it was going away, and I didn't want to spend any money fixing that. I was like, wait, if I spend money on a $500 car, if I spend like $1,000 on a $500 car fixing it, I might as well just upgrade my EUC and then scrap that car. You know what I mean? But here's what happened. I took the Sherman from my mother's house, which is here. I'm in my mother's house in her basement right now, using it. Thanks to her, this is possible. But I took the Sherman from her steps, put it in my Ford Escape, and guess what happened? I was going down a hill. I don't know how steep it was, but I jammed the brakes and the car wouldn't stop. So I'm like, holy smokes, the Sherman is that freaking heavy, dude. So my brakes ended up going more. Like, I really needed brakes now. So instead of stopping, the car would slow down. And I'm like, that wheel is ridiculously heavy. So it's not something I was used to at the time. Now it seems normal to everybody who has it. But that was a heavy wheel, dude, at the time, even by today's standards. You know what I mean? So now, fast forward now to today, we have two crazy wheels. And this is the wheel we're pretty much going to be talking about tonight. These two wheels here, the KS20 and the Commander, these two wheels are insanely heavy. They're heavy. They just threw out portability. Now, Kingsong KS20 tried really hard to make it as light as they possibly could. As you can see, there's not much body involved. It's pretty much a skeleton look. It's one of those like biker looks, you know what I mean, where it's like bare bones. But if you look at it closely, you can see that they really tried to make it rigid as well. So I'm not sure if this is metal that's enclosing the battery or if it's like some type of really strong, durable plastic. We're going to find out soon. I haven't seen any videos. If you guys have seen some videos, drop that, drop the link in the comments, but or in the live or whatever. But you can tell that they really, really tried. And just the fact that you have suspension is going to, incorporate weight. That's just the fact. Now, what we were expecting, a lot of us were expecting, is that some new type of battery technology would be introduced, at least in 2021. So that would at least help with the weight of these wheels, bring it down. What did we get introduced with? We were told, oh, battery shortages. So then I was like, wow, there's going to be battery shortages now. So now my thought was, we're not going to have any crazy new EUCs in 2021. And bam, 4 brand new EUCs out of nowhere. KS20, Commander, Hero, and Abrams. Holy smokes, man. We are freaking going in the right direction. I'm not personally happy. Let me know what you guys think. I'm not happy that these wheels are so insanely heavy, but if we want more safety, if we want more speed, if we want more range, unfortunately, that's where they're going to have to compromise, or we're going to have to compromise as well, is with the weight of these things. We're just going to have to accept it. We're going to have to find a way around it. For those of you that live in apartments, such as myself, fortunately, I'm on 1 floor. But for those of you who live in apartments, it's something you're going to have to consider. And that goes back to the question I'm asking for the night. How are we going to justify purchasing another expensive EUC? And in this case, it's not just another expensive EUC. It's another EUC that's expensive, but that, is extremely heavy. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I have made a video and I want to share it with you guys. It's about 30 minutes. So let's just get into that right now. And it's just me, sharing my thoughts on some of this here, on these 2 particular wheels, mostly the Hero and the KS20. Which I feel the KS20 is really uncompromising. I feel the Hero is also uncompromising in the fact that, it's an off-roading wheel. It seems like it's geared toward off-roading. For the first time, as I mentioned in this video, it seems like Gotway, is really not interested in speed. They were more interested in presenting suspension properly, unlike what they did with the EX. So let's just see what you guys think about this video. And then after that, I will see if I can have you guys, chime in and give me your thoughts. So that's the format. Okay, moving forward, I'm going to try to do this a little bit earlier. Like I said, the reason this ended up being late is because I really had to set this up. And, it's tough. But I'm going to figure it out over time. So let's see if we can get into this right here. That is not the video. Bear with me, guys. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think, guys. Yeah. Oh. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Hold on, guys. Hold on. My life. Welcome to my life. All right, let's get to this.
Is there a significant return on investment by purchasing fill in the blank, whatever EUC it is you plan on purchasing?
So I'm in traffic, and this is basically rush hour. So I know what you guys are thinking. You're thinking, UStride. But why are you riding? Shouldn't you be riding? This is just a long stretch. Now check out my speed as it goes up. Holy smokes. What? Guys, what? This is why I need a wheel that has 60 miles an hour.
Let's give it to Pleaw. Yay, Pleaw. Yay. Congratulations, Pleaw. Wow. This is the most uncompromising wheel I've ever seen in my life. How's it going, e-riders? How's it going? How's it going, riders? Now, before you purchase your next EUC, I think it's important to ask this particular question, especially for veteran riders, people who've been riding for a while. Is there a significant return on investment by purchasing fill in blank, whatever EUC it is you plan on purchasing? Now, obviously, there are more than one questions to ask, but let's deal with this first one. Now, if you already own an EUC, you already know the answer to this problem. It's simple. You just get an EUC. But there are many other EUC riders out there already, and they own many EUCs. But how are you going to justify yet another expensive purchase? Pick up in $4,000. How are we going to justify this? Okay, so the first way we can look at it or justify it is by asking questions based on what is being presented and what we already know about, the environment of just owning an EUC, So here's what I mean. Simple questions like, do I need more range? Do I need more speed? What's the average speed of traffic in your specific city or town? Do I live in a rural area where travel is essential, or is a daily thing? The truth is, range of any EUC will be affected based on where you live. If you live in a small city, for example, the range might not be an issue as much compared to, a bigger city. It's pretty much predictable with the stop and go traffic, people, distance, the size of the city. So all of these are just basic examples of what will determine what type of EUC you should purchase. But these are all subjective variables. Example, I'm a city rider, but I love occasional long distance ridings without the fear of range anxiety.
So I'm in traffic, and this is basically rush hour. And you can see that on this beautiful stretchy road with not many lights, traffic is about, what is it? 33, 34, down to 0 miles an hour. So yeah, if your city is typically like this on a daily basis, then honestly, a long rangey wheel wouldn't be a bad idea. And a short rangey wheel wouldn't be a bad idea. And the wheel that doesn't have so much speed is not really a bad idea. But then again, if you want to blaze it through, because you can, by jumping out in that bike lane right there, you'll be all right. You'll be good. But I'm wasting a lot of time right now. I'm literally wasting a lot of time right now being in traffic, being in this car. So I know what you guys are thinking. You're thinking, UStride, but why are you driving? Shouldn't you be riding? Honestly, yes, I should be riding, not driving right now. But you know what's going on? My high-speed MSP is dead. Off the line, I tried to torque it and the capacitor blew. So I'm left with my torque version MSP, which is great, but it's really for off-roading. I use it for off-roading only because 40 miles an hour is not enough for me, especially on these windy roads. Look, I'm already doing 37, 38, 40 miles an hour in a turn. You know what I'm saying? So what I found is in Boston, 45 miles per hour seems to be adequate. The high-speed MSP was highly capable of doing that. The issue with the high-speed MSP is that it has no range. 1,800 watt hours on a beautiful, beautiful day. On a beautiful day, beautiful hot. Well, today's not so hot. Today, what's the temperature? It's about 77 degrees Fahrenheit. That's perfect for any wheel, really. But that's the real reason. That's the real reason I don't want to drive my MSP torque version. I live about 15 miles away, and most of that is literally stretches. It's just stretches. The torque version MSP, 1,800 watt hours, I would have to be driving at around 30 to 35 miles per hour in order to maintain a good enough battery percentage in order to make it home. I've done that several times, but I think I only live like maybe 10 miles away. So I was able to really push it. I'm that type of guy. I love to push my wheel. You know what I'm saying? So having a short range wheel on a long commute can be daunting. I need a long range wheel with a lot of power, with a lot of everything. You know what I mean? So I can do it. I can ride my torque version MSP, but like I said, it's daunting. It's daunting. Sometimes you see these beautiful streets and you just want to blaze, guys. You just want to blaze. I don't know if you guys, I know a lot of you are not into blazing. I know that. Some of you are like, hey, you don't need to go so fast. But it depends where you live. It depends where you live. I mean, look at the stretch. Hold on. Look at this beautiful stretch down there. You see this stretch? You see this stretch down there? That's a beautiful stretch, guys. That's pretty much how it is for me going to work. Everything is long. Look at this stretch over there. Everything is long. Look at this. Now, look at me. I'm driving. What's the speed? What's the speed? Probably around 30, 40 miles an hour. 40 miles an hour. Easy. Guys, you honestly think I can hang out here, hang out with a lesser wheel that does less than 40 miles an hour here? I mean, I can. Bikes do it. 44, 45. See? So a Sherman or a high-speed MSP or any wheel that does 45 plus is perfect for my commute, but I don't know where you live. So these are all factors we kind of have to take into consideration. And of course, we cannot forget the main factor. The main factor of all is enjoyment. Is it fun? If it's not fun, then forget about it. You're going to have a very boring commute. And it's already boring in cars as it is. You know, so the Sherman is a good wheel, was a good wheel. The weight was the thing. Now it doesn't matter because all these wheels are heavy. But now you have the King Kong KS20, which seems to have an amazing battery and amazing speed, 44.5. I hope they're like Galway, where they increase it a little bit just for safety purposes. But that wheel is more than adequate for these commutes that I do. Back up for this lady. Now, what I really want to show you guys is this street right here. This long street. Oh my gosh. This is just a long stretch. Now, check out my speed as it goes up. Holy smokes. What? Guys, what? This is why I need a wheel that does 60 miles an hour. Because I need to keep up with traffic. And this goes on. This just keeps going and going. It just keeps going and going and going. Now, granted, there is a bike lane over there, so you don't have to feel pressure to drive fast or ride fast. But look at this. Look at this. 57. Easy. Holy moly. And it keeps going. And you think that's where it ends? No. This keeps going, dude. So this is why a 60 mile per hour wheel is essential. Essential. And just like that, we're back in traffic. Guys, I would have been blazing here right now, but we're back in traffic, which is inevitable if you're in a car. EUC.
So, you know, in the past, I used to complain about the weight of the Sherman, for example. Beautiful wheel, very practical, holy smokes, except in the weight department. But by today's standards, it doesn't seem to matter because the weight of EUCs seems to be going up and up. So that doesn't seem to be a factor anymore. It seems like the lightest weighted wheel right now that's being offered is the KS20. Surprisingly, it's 66 pounds, something I actually don't believe considering the battery, the weight, and all the features. But I got this information from UCO. Now, Ewheels.com presents a different weight, which is at 77 pounds, equaling the Sherman, which makes sense. But either way, the weight of these EUCs are not coming down. It doesn't seem so. All right, guys, so I'm back to my favorite place that I just found recently. Yeah. Woo. This is what I'm talking about. Finding your place that you're so comfortable with, huh? Well, I just got at it. I just learned about this place, but I'm loving it. Anyway, back to the KS20. I'll tell you what, though. What I really like about the KS20 is well, first let me mention this. It does not seem, like I said earlier, that these wheels are going to get any lighter. It just doesn't seem like it at all. No new battery technology seems to be on the horizon. And if it is, it's still in research. And as you know, with anything new, it's going to be very expensive initially if released in the market. So we're not expecting anything pioneering or innovative anytime soon. Let's just hold that out. Now, the bare bones design of the KS20 makes sense. It makes sense because not only is it bare bones, but the enclosure of the battery, which apparently is the body as well, seems to be rigid. Seems to be a very strong structure that, in case of a crash, will be able to pretty much handle itself pretty well, in my opinion. That's what it seems like. Let me know what you guys think. But I think that's the plan. Kingsong, if I were to assume how they went about their design, is that they figured out, listen, we want to enter that realm of performance, but if we do the way we're doing it now, like with the 16X, we're going to have to figure out a way to compromise somewhere. And I'm very glad that they compromised with, by not adding more body to the unit. That makes a lot of sense. So I'm very glad. Now, another thing is, like I said, it encloses the battery, but unlike the S18, it seems like that body enclosure is so complete that the suspension system seems to be hidden within that enclosure as well. What's the benefit of that? Less maintenance, if you think about it, if I'm correct. Because like I said, the S18, the spring or the suspension part seems to be exposed to the elements, whereas this one is completely enclosed. You know what I mean? But I don't know. We haven't seen any real footage of it in the real world. We've only seen pictures. So right now I'm just guessing. But it doesn't seem that I don't think I'm making a bad guess. I think that's the guess to make. Either way, the KS20 is a very good example of how to compromise properly. Okay, so considering the questions I presented to you earlier, range, your environment, speed, etc., torque, all these things, there are only two wheels right now that really seem to capture the needs of every single rider out there, and that is the KS20 and the Hero. Both KS20 and Hero allow for off-roading capabilities. Don't get me wrong, they all do. But these two particular wheels have suspension. And because of that, it makes them the ideal choice, the ideal decisions. Now, it's kind of interesting because for the first time, Galway is not really competing with speed. Galway is not really concerned with speed for the very first time. That's very interesting. The speed of the Hero is about 35 plus, according to what I read. And the Hero is 44.5. That's very, the KS20 is 44.5. That's very interesting. For the first time, Kingsong seems to be leading in terms of ultimate performance. So let's give it to Kingsong. Let's give it to Kingsong. Yay, Kingsong. Yay. Congratulations, Kingsong. Wow. This is the most uncompromising wheel I've ever seen in my life, to be honest. Thank you. Now, I can also say that Galway, or the Galway, did not compromise with the suspension. As a matter of fact, where speed is concerned, I'm not too worried about it because I think Galway did not have that in mind when they built the Hero. The primary concern was the suspension. I believe it was 80 pounds or 80 pounds. Either way, we're going to talk about it in a little bit. Now, if there's any wheel I'm going to choose it has to have performance. That's without a doubt. There needs to be torque. There needs to be speed. There needs to be range. And now it seems there needs to be suspension. And not really. But it seems like this is becoming more and more of a necessity the more they dish it out. Let's give Galway some credit here because they did not ignore us when we said the EX sucked. The EXN made sense, the EX sucks. Right? Wow, check this scenery out, guys. Let's talk here for a second. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful scenery. Yeah, so Galway, the Galway, listen to us. And it seems like we forced them. I wouldn't say we forced them. We didn't directly force them, but we forced them by purchasing these other wheels and making crazy, crazy arguments regarding their approach to suspension and other things like the shell, etc. But I can't say much about the shell regarding the Hero. It does look like the front seems to be a malleable type of plastic. Well, what do you think? What do you guys think? It does seem like that to me. But today I just wanted to focus on the KS20 and the Hero. And these two wheels are uncompromising. They really are. Galway did compromise on speed, but I wonder why. I wonder why. Is it possible because the bat, I don't know, 1,800 watt hours? If Kingston can do it, what held Galway back from doing it? I would say the price. If we had gotten something like 2,200 or 2,300, 2,600 watt hours, we would be looking up in the $5,000 range. So I think that's probably the reason. Why else would they cut back on speed? Let me know what you guys think. But I am very excited. I am extremely excited. My goodness, these wheels are beautiful. Now, I'm very curious about the water resistance of these two wheels. We have seen videos, not pictures. We've seen videos of the Hero in the wild. You know, they poured water on it. They left it out in the rain, etc., etc. But that's not a long-term testing. That's just a video. We need long-term testing. That is how you determine if something is IP whatever rating. They can say it, but we got to see it. You know what I mean? The KS20, however, I'm very curious. Now, have there been any complaints, you guys know, of Kingston having issues with water resistance? Is there any complaints at all known among our community? I don't know of any. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Oh, I turned it off by mistake. Whoa! These new gloves are pretty thick, so my sense of feel is not so great. But check out the view, guys. My goodness. Woo! Let's get out of here. Anyway, let's go deeper into these wheels. Let's go deeper into their specs and features.
All right. Typical. All right, so that was just an example of using the KS20 as an example, but whatever your heart's desire for any of these new wheels, let it be centered around your riding habits, riding styles, whatever, and where you live, meaning how is your traffic? How are other people around you? Is it terrain? Is it asphalt? Is it stop and go traffic? Because if it's stop and go traffic, then that's pretty much the bulk of your day. Speed is not really gonna matter, unless you just want it to want it. But remember, these wheels are expensive. So for what it's worth, these should be the two primary indicators you should take into consideration before dishing out your hard-earned monies. So that was the KS20. But now, let me compare two extremes, the KS20 and the Commander. Both wheels I absolutely want. The KS20 I want, because it has everything you need. But how is that going to translate in real life? Plus, we haven't seen any video of this thing in the wild. We have seen the Commander. And for me, living in Boston, and someone who likes to often travel to cities like New York, range is a thing. Speed is a thing. But New York, as we all know, have crazy roads, terrible roads. And the KS20 at 44.5 miles an hour. I'm really hoping they have a 5 mile per hour buffer, because what that means is you'll start to see tilt back similar to the V12, which stated to do 40 miles an hour, but pulled back at around 37, 38 when you really push on it. In fact, people who wrote it don't recommend doing 40 miles an hour. Anyway, that's another story. Now, two different wheels, one has suspension, one doesn't, and they're designed for completely different purposes, okay? Clearly, KS20 is all around. Commander, you get what you see. Range, speed, and comfort. Because now you can add a seat, and the trolley handle is comfortable now. The wheel is huge, the tire, oh my gosh, like everything is just beautifully amazing. Okay, it's just beautifully put together. Now, if you look at the specs, let's go over the specs here. We have an initial deposit of $100 on Ewheels. That's all right. But yeah, actually $100 is not a bad deposit. And honestly, they should keep it that low. Remember, with the Sherman was $1,000. But basically, all these wheels are ridiculously expensive. I do give it to Kingsong again, though, for coming in at just under $3,300. That's awesome. Take my money, right? You have the Commander, which is arriving in late September. It's estimated at a price of $3,999. Let's just call it $4,000. You have tentative specs, which could change. You have 20-inch street or knobby tire, 3,600 watt-hour Samsung 21750E cell battery. In comments, Ewheels says it's our improved battery pack. So I'm guessing, I read something that Ewheels might be contracting with someone else to pack their batteries for them, which would be great. We know Ewheels loves safety. A 2,800 watt motor, freaking amazing. Upwards of 50 miles per hour max speed, available in either high torque or high speed. Now, my question is, does the high torque also do 50 miles an hour? That'd be amazing. Wow. Include fitted CNC pedals, and the weight is stated to be 85 pounds net weight. Now, there's a few things that Ewheels did not mention. For example, it has that handle, it has the beautiful trolley handle, it has the LCD display. In some pictures, I saw that there was a kickstand. I'm not sure if that's something that's fitted onto the wheel or something that's retrofitted due to the mudguard. I'm not sure. Either way, the Commander does not look like it has any built-in kickstand, which would be awesome. Let's go into the KS20. The KS20's tentative price is $3,200. Take my money. Expected to arrive late December with a motor at a 3,300 watt motor, 44.5 miles per hour top speed, 2,220 watt hour, 126 volt battery pack with smart BMS, 20-inch tire, pretty much the same as the Commander, available in street or knobby. It has shocks, suspension, as you can tell. Estimated weight, 77 pounds. Now, UCO did say it's 66 pounds, so I'm curious to see why there's such a drastic change. That's literally 10 pounds. Other highlights, spike pedals, integrated adjustable power pads, up to a 10 amp rapid charger, but what's included when you purchase it is a 6 amp charger, and a built-in kickstand. Now, obviously, there are lots more other things like the adjustable headlights, the display on the top, and the seats. That's amazing. I think something else to note here, like I stated earlier, is the enclosed metal enclosure for the battery, and as a result of that, it literally hides the suspension, okay? Or this, I'm not sure if it's the suspension or the spring, but we'll get into that later in another video. The point is, these are two different wheels for very different purposes, and from what I've seen so far in real life looks or pics with the Commander, it's very versatile, it's very strong, it's very tall. They're all very tall, to be honest. But if we go to Ewheels, we can see exactly how tall these things are. So in Ewheels, it states that the Kingsong KS20 is, 36.6 inches high, The Commander is 35.4 inches high. So the Commander ends up being a little bit shorter, not by much, literally by 1 inch. So these wheels are literally comparable in terms of dimensions, but in terms of features. So one, you have an all-around wheel. You could take it on-roading, off-roading, city, small city, big city. So for example, Boston, New York, California, with the long roads that they have. I mean, 44 miles per hour, 44.5 miles per hour is a good enough speed. Plus you have this massive battery to go with it, 2,200 watt-hour battery. Now, what's interesting to note here is that you have a smart BMS. So the smart BMS, in my assumption, is good because they're not really comparing, if you were to compare it with the Commander would outright destroy, where are my stats? The Commander would outright destroy the KS20 in terms of specs because you have a 3,600 watt-hour Samsung battery from Commander, from the Dode. But there's no smart BMS to manage that battery. But on the KS20, you have a smart BMS. So my guess is that the smart BMS makes up for the lack of that extra, 1,400, holy smokes. Wow. So the KS20 is lacking by 1,400 watt hours. That's a lot of battery, okay? My guess is, even though the smart BMS is implemented in the KS20 to manage battery, I don't think that's going to help much in terms of range because of how wide the gap is in terms of watt hour. That's huge. That's a huge gap. But either way, one does, let's see, the KS20 has a 3,300 watt motor. The Commander has 300 watts more, so a 3,600 watt, it has a 2,800 watt motor. Wow, interesting. So the Commander, if you really think about it, the Commander is going to do a lot better in terms of range and speed because it has a lower motor, lower rating motor, 2,800 watts versus a 3,300 watt motor from KS20. So the KS20, not only is it heavy, you have a more powerful motor, boasting 44.5 miles per hour. So that's going to take a toll on that battery in a long distance. Short distance doesn't really matter. Like Boston City, I could probably lap Boston probably 5 times, Dorchester to Boston, back and forth constantly with no issues, maybe 5 times, 6 times, riding at 35 plus miles an hour. When you're looking at this Commander, which is 3,600 watt hours, okay, that's crazy. And at 20, so it's smaller motor. So that literally just translates into less power output, not in a bad way, meaning power consumption, okay? So that's gonna be interesting to experience. All right, guys, so I did not intend to make this video long, but this is something you should take into consideration. There's a lot offered here. These companies have gone out of their way to not only compete with each other, but to answer our burning desires and to give us what we really need. I think they've done a great job. Both Commander and KS20, both Kingsong and the Dode, they've done an amazing job. Gotway, as you can tell, it's not flamboyant. It's very simple. You see what you get what you see, Busy way. What you see is what you get. KS20 is still vaporware as of this video. I'm not sure how this is going to translate in real life, but I have confidence. I have a lot of confidence because, like I said, the enclosure just looks solid. So my main concern with KS20 was that when it crashes, it's just going to splatter everywhere because all these parts don't seem to be bolted onto anything. But if you really look closely, you can tell that they are bolted on. Something, metal or some type of metal steel body. I hope that's metal or some type of plastic material that's extremely reinforced because it just looks either strong or not. There's no in between. So these adjustable pedals, for example, how are they going to hold up in a fall? You know what I mean? How do you adjust them? I would love to see how all that stuff works. What's interesting? There's no mudguard for the KS20 for being an off-roading wheel. It's possible that the kickstand, because if you look at the kickstand, it clearly looks like it is in itself a mudguard. But we'll have to see. Guys, this was a great video. I enjoyed reviewing these wheels, you know, for what this purpose of this video is. But my mind is racing right now. How is yours? Are you guys excited? Anyway, let's see what's on the horizon in terms of the KS20. I hope it works out. I hope it does. I want it to succeed. I want it to do really well because the KS18 had a similar debut where it was beautiful, but then when we tested it, there were issues, usually with the panel, but also with the power. They took care of that. But the panel crashing, slapping that thing together. Let's see what's in store. Guys, have an awesome night. Chat more about this in the comments. Let me know what you think. Please support this channel. If it's your first time here, please subscribe and support me in the Cash App or however you decide to support me, because I would like help to purchase one of these wheels to review. Guys, have an awesome night. Peace. Happy riding. All right, so that was the video I made for you guys. It was kind of long, but I felt it needed to be long personally, because there's going to be enough reviews out there reviewing the vaporware that we've seen with the KS20 and the videos we've seen out there from all kinds of channels. So I just wanted to go a little bit in depth with this particular, you know, talking about these wheels, because they're expensive. They're insanely expensive. And I just feel like they need a little bit more attention considering how expensive they are. I want to know if there's really any difference compared to, for example, the Sherman, because I really give Sherman the credit for why these wheels are existing today. Sherman set the veteran set the benchmark for these wheels. Wouldn't you guys agree? They literally set the benchmark, and I don't know why my stuff is not working. You know, I had a Mac, and I never had any of these issues with Mac, like never. But for some reason, I'm just having issues with Windows, and this is a Windows 10, and I'm having all kinds of issues with this thing. And it's one of the most powerful PCs, or not PCs, but laptops I bought from Micro Center. And it's just buggy, you know? I have never experienced such bugginess on my Mac ever. So expect me to switch to a Mac soon, back to a Mac, because my old Mac pretty much, it died. I've used it so much, it just died. So when I say die, I mean the not the processor, the graphics board died. So I need to fix that, but get another one, because I just like the durability of Mac, man. It's just smooth. It's like butter. It's just knife through butter. It's not like butter. It's like knife going through butter. It's smooth, or hot knife going through butter. But anyway, back to the topic. These wheels are expensive, okay? Let's admit it. They're just expensive, man. Like, okay, let me ask you guys a question in the comments. Please answer if you can. Yeah, Sensei Vegan. Let's see what yes, Macs are awesome. He loves Macs. I love Macs too, man. They're just so smooth. They make my life easy. I've had so much issues with this thing. It's great, but I feel, maybe I'm using the wrong word, but it's not good at multi-threading. I feel like the Macs have a bus for, or a highway for each communication you send to the CPU, and you know, it gets there and it comes back with no interruptions. This, I'm not sure what's going on in there, man. But these wheels are expensive. They're insanely expensive. As a matter of fact, let me ask you guys a question right now. I have a question. How are you guys feeling the pinch? They're not even here yet. You've put down $100 deposit if you go to eWheels. You put down $1,000 deposit if you go to Alien Rides. I'm not sure what UCO has, Tech Toys, all these awesome places that you can purchase wheels. These are just deposits. Do you feel like, shit, I'm going to pay all this money and then I get this wheel and I'm going to crash it and there's no warranty for crashing? You know what I mean? Are you guys feeling like buyer's remorse yet? Because you haven't even purchased it yet, and your deposit, you can just get it back. I remember the first time I put a deposit. So the question I'm asking is, let me just get rid of this particular question I have on the screen. The question I'm asking is, are you guys feeling buyer's remorse if you've already put down a deposit? So if you've already put down a deposit, are you feeling a sense of comfort? Because it's like, it's a two-edged sword where it's like, I've secured my spot so that I can at least get one. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want it because it's so expensive, but I don't want to get my deposit back because I might find myself lower in the queue. You know what I mean? Or not in the queue at all. How are you guys feeling about this? Let me know. I'm gonna take the link here. As I said, I would have you guys call in or chime in if you want to. So I'm gonna copy this link and I'm gonna paste it in the chat. Okay. So I pasted this thing in the chat, and I'm not sure how to pin it. So don't ask me to pin it because I have no idea how to pin it. So this is the link, okay? It's in the chat. So you're gonna have to go to the chat. I'm not sure how to pin that thing. I know there are ways to do it, but I'm not sure how to do it. So go ahead and click on that link. Let me just go back to okay, let me just do this. There you go. Yeah, click on the StreamYard link, guys, if you have a thought. I'm not if you click on it, because I've never done this before. It should pop up when you click on it. But I want to read this. Yeah, I want to know if you guys have any buyer's remorse, and I know some of you out there have deep pockets. You have major deep pockets. You're engineers. You know what I find? It'd be interesting to do a little survey to see the occupation of EUC riders, because when I went to New York, I find that most riders were engineers. Not most, but a lot of them were engineers. They were software guys. They were guys in the higher tier of society. And I'm there with my Tesla at the time, and these guys were already talking about purchasing wheels that during at that time they were already talking about purchasing more expensive wheels. Like some of them had like 4 or 5 wheels. I mean, I'm like, wow. Like, so I think these companies know, not that I think, they know who's purchasing their wheels. You understand what I mean? They know who's purchasing their wheels. These companies come off like they're not advanced, like they're not up to the times, because is someone calling? Hey, awesome. So I'll let you in a little bit. Let me just finish my thought, okay, Lewis? So basically, like, it seems like, it doesn't seem like they're presenting themselves like corporate, but at the end of the day, what would lead them to create such a crazy price, like $4,000? What would make their balls so big that, wow, yes, $4,000, you're going to take my money and you're going to be happy to give it to me, So I'm going to let Lewis in. Let me see what he has to say. Hello. Hold on for a second. I can't hear you, Lewis. Is it your audio? Can you check your audio?
How about now? Can you hear me?
There you go. Yep, I can hear you now. Go ahead, buddy.
All right, cool. Yeah, man. I would like to see better results with that S20. Let's see what's going on. I know from your point of view and my point of view, yeah, we're feeling the pinch with that, because the price on these wheels, and you get it in, let's say the first day you crash on that wheel, man, you're done for until you get the parts.
Right. I didn't think about parts. I didn't think about that, because these are brand new wheels. These are absolutely brand new wheels, guys. So, we know that with Sherman, for example, when they first came out, issue was parts, right? And even now they're discontinued, So it's like these companies are brand new, first batch. I'm not sure, like you said, I'm not sure if you're going to have any type of parts or warranty is going to be able to help you out. Also, bottleneck. What about bottleneck? Because now you're going to have a ton of people ordering. How long is it going to take to get one wheel? Like what? Several months?
Yep. But no, with the Sherman, they're making productions again with the Shermans. So anyone that has a Sherman will be able to get parts for it. It's just a matter of the wait time.
The wait time. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But even then, if that's your only wheel, then that wait time is going to count for a lot. But let me ask you a question, Lewis. Let me ask you a question. Are you planning on purchasing one of those wheels?
I'm
Not just,
interested on the S20.
but you just said that you wanted your so see Kings. See, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Remember when Sean? I'll let you in, Sensei. Remember when Sean said that Gotway said that they don't pay attention to YouTube. Well, it seems like these guys are paying attention, because that look of the S20 is probably, because when I used to work in what did I work in? Hotels, they said that 80% of people's purchasing is all based on emotion. The rest of the 20% is intellect. So you literally just gave me a reason why we should not get the S20 when you first call in, because we're concerned about how it crashed. And then when I ask you, did you purchase one? Yeah, I want the S20. What's your justification, man? What's your justification?
From at first glance, when you look at the S20, what I picture is a Ducati.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like a Ducati. It looks like something sporty and fun to ride on. But my whole thing at the end of the day is I want to see that thing crash.
Right.
And see how it has crash. That, I think if Kingston was to put a video out showing the wheel crashing and that it can handle a crash, I think a lot of people will forfeit all the other wheels and go.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. Let me let Sensei in. Let's see what he has to say. Hey, thanks, man. Thank you for your call.
No problem. No problem.
All right.
Oh, this is dope.
All right, Sensei. What do you have to say? Thank
Brother
you.
Stride, what's happening, man?
You're awake. I did this late because I was having issues, but you're awake. I mean, this is New York. You guys never sleep.
Never sleep, man. We never sleep. Dude, I'm excited for the new wheels. They are pricey. We all knew that, like you said. Sherman pretty much set the trend for the pricey wheels. But look what you're getting with the Sherman. You got the range, you got the durability, you got the speed. And I think someone like the caliber that you ride, you need something like that. You know what I mean? I think other riders that are maybe less experienced, they can get away with, like me. I love my Tesla. Yes. But I know, you know what I mean? But everyone has a wheel that's going to fit their riding style and how they ride. And I think that's what riders really need to sort out. Now, for me, I'm sort of in the middle. I was in an accident, that whole thing. So I'm just letting my body heal up.
How are you doing overall? Are you 100%, 80%? What are you?
I would say right now, probably about 80. My left leg is still a little weak and my ankle's still a little weak.
So what happened? What happened exactly in short? Make it short. What happened exactly? I'm sorry that you went through this, but guys, this is, I always say when people ask, is EUC dangerous? I say yes.
It is.
Not because of us, not because of the wheel necessarily. It's because of us. It's just human error. So go on, explain.
I mean, I can't give everything because some stuff is still being sorted out legally. But I was commuting to work, and I'm going down to get to the train station, and basically a driver jumped through the intersection at the stop sign and hit me at a pretty good rate of speed. And sent me flying, and that's basically it. It was driver error. Driver did not see me, but this is what we do. That's a risk that we take when we ride. We all love riding. It's just you can be the best rider, but you can't compensate for bad. You know what I mean? Incoherent or distracted drivers. I think that's the hardest part about riding an EUC is trying to, you can't manipulate, you can't control distracted drivers. That's the hard part.
So let me ask you this. So I have this saying, know your environment and know your wheel.
Right.
Let me ask you this, because I like to look at both sides and I don't want to get into it too much. Please don't feel like you have to answer it because of the legal situation. But answer me this. do you feel that you were able to be on code 100% with knowing your wheel and knowing your environment? Do you feel like there's something you could have done better? Or do you feel you did do your part, but the driver, because even as riders, we have to assume, I always assume that I've been hit before, but I expected them to hit me, and then they hit me because I didn't prepare. But my question to you is, do you feel like there's something you could have done, or you did everything and then they, pretty much did what they did?
Right. I believe I did everything right. When I pull up to an intersection, I'll slow down. I'll make eye contact with the driver if I can. Most of the time I try to do that. Again, if the driver's distracted, trying to make eye contact is almost useless, but that's what I try to do. If I was not 100% that day, I wouldn't be here talking to you guys right now. Seriously, it was either life or death. I mean, I don't think people really realize the hit that I took, but I knew that.
Did you have video of it?
Pardon me?
Did you have video of it?
I didn't have video. And I'll tell you what, I had said this before, and I don't think people understood what I was saying. I remember I was watching a video of EVX at the Broadway bomb. And I watched a section in the video where he went through an intersection and he ran at an angle to kind of get away from a car. In that time, that's exactly what I did to outrun the car. I had to run at an angle to absorb the impact. Otherwise, if I'd have kept going straight, I wouldn't be here right now.
Wow.
I wouldn't be here right now. So it's just funny how your mind works. Like, I watch a lot of videos, but it's something how your mind will work and hold on to that information. And when you need it, you'll yank it out this supercomputer.
That's right.
Yeah, I start running at an angle.
That's
and I
called
absorbed a lot. Yeah, I absorbed a lot of the impact. Yeah.
Wow. Now, what's interesting is you were in your Tesla, were you?
Yeah. Let me tell you this about the Tesla, dude. People say, oh man, the Godway wheels, their shells are like, the shell like eggshell. Dude, that Tesla took a hit, bro.
Yeah, I've crashed my Tesla many times and it just put it back together.
Right? Yeah, that thing, it's like a tank. It took a good hit. It did take damage, but it powered on. Powered on. Yeah. So, I mean, I love the Tesla. It has its limits, but I love that wheel. I love that wheel. I'm trying to get it back up and running now.
Let me know what you think about this. I'm glad you're feeling a lot better. Okay. We all want you to get back to 100%. You know what I'm saying? Because this is just the environment we expect. It's just what it is. Now, here's the thing. These wheels are way more heavier than the Tesla. So do you feel, and let the audience know, do you feel that, number one, do you recommend any of these wheels for new riders?
Me, honestly, no.
Me neither.
No, not at all. Not at all. Dude, I went from, and this is how I started. And this goes out to everyone watching. Do not let people control what you want to buy. Buy what is best for you and what is comfortable for you. Yep. Because it only takes a millisecond to get yourself in trouble on these things. Sorry
to interrupt, but I wanted you to, and exactly what you're saying here is why I wanted to say what I want to say, but I want to interject this little piece that your Tesla was very light. These wheels are insanely heavy. So braking power, acceleration, turning, bending, maneuvering, all of that has to be taken into consideration.
Big time. I started out with an M10.3. I went to a Tesla V2 and I could see the weight difference. I was like, wow, this Tesla's really heavy. Now I'm riding an RS high speed and going from because my RS high speed is like 58 pounds. I got on that thing. I was like, wow, this thing is heavy.
It's heavy.
Yeah, it's much heavier, and you have to take and compensate for the brake. It's just like anything, weight. You have to compensate for the weight, and the more weight something weighs, the more tired you're going to be trying to throw that weight around. Your body's going to get fatigued if it's not used to it. The braking distance and all these other things. So weight is a big issue. I don't recommend any heavy wheels for these new riders. I really don't.
It's funny, when the Sherman first came out, a lot of new riders were jumping on the Sherman. And in my review, and many others, even Coogee Rolls, the top tier of reviewers mentioned that it's not for new riders.
No.
Of course, you're going to do whatever it is you want to do at the end of the day. common sense, you know, kind of lets you know, listen. But the thing is, it goes back to the statistic that I mentioned earlier. 80% of people's buying decision comes from their emotion, and then the rest of the 20 comes from their intellect. So most people, when they think of purchasing something, dude, look at this King Song. Are you freaking kidding me? You look at this.
It looks like a sport bike. It looks like a sport bike, right?
Dude, you don't care about weight. You don't care. It's fast. It's 44.5 freaking miles an hour. And the first person, okay, who's never bought an EUC before, sees this, and they're gonna purchase it. Not because of, you know. So the fact that you went through what you went through enforces more that, you know, new riders should just stay away from these wheels, in my opinion. Yeah.
You know, it's people, they want, for example, they want what the top riders have. They want to be in with the crowd. I'm being completely honest. So they want to get the Commander. They want to get the Sherman.
Sorry to be a bummer, guys. Sorry to be a bummer, but we're literally trying to save your life right now.
No, it is.
Your limb.
100%.
Because Sensei Vegan, you said Tesla. Before, was the Tesla your first wheel?
No, I had an M10 first.
Oh yeah, you did say that. Yeah, M10
M10
And the going through the progression of a small wheel to a mid-range wheel to a big wheel to a real like performance wheel, you could appreciate the performance wheel more, right?
Oh, it's like even going from the Tesla to the RS, man, I was like, wow. It was like the performance, you know, the torque, the speed. Like, I think the fastest I had my Tesla up to was like 31.9 miles an hour. And then this RS high speed, I can do over 40 miles an hour on it. And I haven't even hit 40 miles an hour on it yet.
39?
I can go over 30. I think we'll go over 39. I think we'll do 40.
The Tesla?
No, not the Tesla. On my Tesla, I went 31.9.
Okay.
31.9, just under 32. I remember you saying, I think it was you and to Sean Floyd were like, you might not want to do 32 on it because you're gonna. So I always say below 32.
No, because Gotway does that. Gotway is the only company besides Sherman now that would give you a spec top speed and then will give you at least 5 to like 7 extra mile buffer just in case. Above 50% battery, of course, you know.
Yeah, because I think like my riding weight's about 185, 190 pounds. So I would take that into consideration. I think, like I said, I would normally ride the Tesla. Normally I would stay about 29, 28. That would be my top speed. Then if I wanted to push it a touch, I'd hit maybe like 31. But I know for a fact that the RS high speed, you can hit 40 miles an hour on that wheel.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this, Sensei. You're technically a veteran now. You've gone through pretty much all the initiations that we typically have to go through as veterans. I've met people in New York who's never crashed their wheels, but they don't ride, you know, as like aggressive as most New Yorkers do. Nevertheless, they are veterans. But I would really consider your type of veteran because you literally went through all the initiations. You crashed, you went through like a small wheel, mid-range wheel, big wheel. So you're able to appreciate the entire spectrum per se. Can you justify, not just by price, but add price in there, can you justify purchasing one of these new wheels? Can you justify that?
I'll admit, I was one of the first, and you can look on my channel and see the videos. I was kind of like, man, these prices are just way too high. But you get what you pay for. You know what I mean? You do. You get what you pay. If you want the range, if you want the speed, you're going to have to pay for it. Now, I would love to see a hop up in battery tech. You know what I mean? So maybe the wheels could be a little bit lighter. Like you can get a 1,500 watt hour battery that would give you, you know, like a 2,700 watt hour battery range or something like that. But me right now, I'm like, okay, I don't want to have to dish off that money, but I know in order to get one of these wheels, right now the S20 is at the top of my list. I want to see what InMotion. I think InMotion has a chance to do a serious undercut and make a serious power play with their next wheel. I believe they're going to put out a suspension wheel next. They could make a serious power play. So I want to see what they want to do. But as of right now, I'm pushing for either the S20, depending on the durability, or if I have to, it would be the Commander. It would be the Commander. I think I'd get the Commander over the Abrams. I think so. Absolutely,
100%. Yeah. I don't see the justification for the Abrams, though. I mean, the Abrams does look nice, and I like the rail. I really like that. That does add some type of protection, warranty, if you will, built-in warranty to your wheel. but I don't. The specs went downward.
It
But
went down. I would get a Sherman, dude. I would get the Sherman
Just get a Sherman. Just get a
over
Sherman.
the Abrams. I would get the Sherman over the Abrams. I'm serious. That's what I would do. I would get a Sherman over the Abrams. It's like they downgraded.
They downgraded. Yeah. I wonder why.
I don't know. I know they were saying batteries and this and that, but I'm like, well, all these other wheels are putting out batteries, and things like that. So I don't know what the deal. Oh, you had made something about Ewheels and their battery packs. My RS has a new battery pack in it. The new battery packs that the Ewheels have put in. So with the upgraded BMS and things like that.
I did see that.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
I mean,
I didn't get the Molly cell. I believe that's like an extra $250. I just got the regular one, but they outsourced their battery packs now, and I haven't had any problems with the RS yet. I haven't had any problems with it. I'm just.
Well, I mean, look, I've had my wheels forever. I've had like freaking my Tesla forever. And I've pulled out the batteries, like it's been years now, and I haven't had a single issue. You know, Yaz will. You know, I've had no issues with my wheels, and I'm one of the guys who rides in puddles, who rides in rain.
Yeah, you ride, dude.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I know that, you know, with a lot of technology, there's always like a bad batch, but I'm not sure why Gotway went through that. But it's official, right? That Ewheels is going through a different distributor.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Because I have that pack in my RS. I have the pack in my RS.
That's awesome.
I think with me too, and I'm sorry to take up so much time, I don't push myself. I don't think anyone has really seen me push myself on my wheels on my videos. I sort of ride conservative. I can ride better than what people see me on my videos. I don't like when I'm filming and stuff, I'm like, I'm filming, I'm going to lock myself in, and you know what I mean? So I don't make any mistakes and things like that. So I think, hopefully coming up soon, once I'm 100% healed up, I'll make some videos and I'll push it harder, but I can ride better than what people see me on the videos. I kind of just ride conservative when I'm riding, shooting. You know how it is shooting with a camera, and this is another important thing. And I tell people, dude, people have no idea. Learn how to ride first, then learn how to ride with a selfie stick. A selfie stick, the first time I did it, thank God I was in the park. It was windy, and I held that stick out, and I angled it at a certain angle, and the wind hit it like a rudder on a plane, and it pushed me out.
You wouldn't think a stick would add any type of like resistance in the wind, but it does.
Yeah, it's like a rudder on a plane. It'll steer you right out in the traffic. So I tell people, do not rush to make your videos. If you want to make a video, put it on a tripod and just, ride past the camera and the tripod until you get comfortable, and shoot with a shorter length stick before you start extending it out. You know what I mean? And make the stick longer and longer, because the longer the stick is, the harder it is to ride with.
So let me ask you this, not to cut you off. So back to the topic. Yes, guys, be very careful. The reason I'm letting him talk more and more is because he literally, one of the things we don't want to experience is crashing, right? Because when you crash, you can't ride, and that's a bummer. You know what I mean? And not only that, you could have hurt someone else. I mean, your family's depending on you. Who cares? All these things are important. So it's important to let him speak, because he's an example. He's a case study. So learn from him. Ask him all the questions. I'm sorry, but you are. You know what I'm saying?
It's true. It is. It's so true.
It's valuable. What you have to say right now is extremely valuable. This is why I'm letting you speak. But let me ask you this. Have you put down a purchase on any of these wheels yet?
I haven't. Like I said, I want to see, like right now, the S20 and the Commander's at the top of the list. I want to see what Emotion does. I still think the V11, I still think is one of the most underrated wheels out there. I love that. Dude, the V11 is that wheel is underrated, bro.
Why do you say that? Because
my buddy, Koki Robinson, has a V11, and I've ridden with him many times, and I would be pushing on my Tesla. And I actually had someone say,
wait, hold on. These are completely because listen, the Tesla came out way before the V11. And not only that, the V11, what is its top speed? 35 miles an hour?
35.
Yeah.
35.
So it's really not, I mean, what's the battery? Do you know?
1,500 watt hour.
1,500. Okay, so the Tesla is what? 10.
Like 1,120.
Yeah,
1,120 watt hour, I think, or 1,020 watt hour, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
1,020 watt hour.
So it's technically not in the same league per se. So I don't think that it's fair, in my opinion, to really compare them.
But check this out. Remember Cobra. Think of Cobra at the rally, at the indoor rally. He kept up with everybody on that V11, especially with those turns. You know, with the height of the pedals, he wasn't scraping.
Yeah, so that I think that was the main thing. It wasn't the speed; it was the pedals.
Well, another thing too. I see speed is subject to interpretation, because you can only go as fast as the course is going to let you. And that's the same thing with riding on a street. If a street has a ton of bumps and potholes, you know, because Boston streets are probably just as bad as New York's, dude. So you have to be very aware of your environment, where you can push it and where you can kind of, you know, just let this be free and just full send it. Because I tell anybody on here, you do not want to hit a bump at 35 miles an hour, because you're coming off the wheel, you're bending the rim, you know. So speed, you have to know when to pour it on and when to turn it off. That's the biggest thing about speed. But that comes with experience. For me, 35 miles an hour is a good speed to cruise around. Again, if you're on a stretch of road where you can open it up and you can hit 40 plus, that's cool. But normally for me, about 25 to 30 miles an hour, a little over 30, is sufficient for me to run on. You
did put a deposit, right? That's what you said.
No, I did not. No, not yet. Not yet.
All right. Cool. That's cool. Hey, listen. Just be safe riding out there. You're at 80%. No need to push it. No need to create videos showing you pushing it just yet.
Right.
100% before you go on, because we need you out there. You know what I mean? So thanks, man. Thanks for calling in. I really appreciate it, Sensei. See you another time, hopefully.
All right, brother. Be safe.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to let Monty in. Monty, let's see what you have to say. Right. 100% before you go. How you doing, Monty?
How's it going, bro?
Thanks, man. Thanks for calling. I think there's something in your background. You might have to turn off your YouTube.
All right.
Or mute it. At least mute it.
Hold on.
100%.
Let me mute it.
How you doing, Monty?
All right, one second.
I think.
How's that?
That's better.
I got it.
So Monty, quick question for you. I've never seen you before. Do you own a wheel? Where do you live? Do you live in a city, rural area, the woods, on a boat? And how can you justify purchasing another wheel if you have one already?
All right, I'm 1 mile from Philadelphia and Jersey right here. And the Veteran Sherman and the Nikola was my choice.
Wait, you have those two wheels?
Correct.
Wow. Okay, go on.
And I look at it like this: you guys had the privy when the wheels were cheap, $1,000 wheels. When it was start, you were there for the beginning. They were cheap because they were a niche. Everybody wasn't on it.
Yeah.
Monster was the $2,700 wheel. The Veteran Sherman came out and trumped that damn near at the same price.
Mm-hmm.
So then they improved on that and turned it up to 34, 35.
Yeah.
What would make anyone think that the price would start to go down from there at that point?
Well, okay, so to interject, if you think about it, the Sherman, when it came out, you're right. You're right for thinking in that direction. Right. But when the Sherman came out, if you think about it, it gave us a ton of stuff, right? So it gave us like better quality. It gave us like more performance, more durability. It gave us the rails. So the rail was literally the first time we've seen protection integrated inside an EUC. It gave us an LCD screen. They gave us an LCD screen. And not only was it an LCD screen, that LCD screen was actually functional. So for me, for example, I like riding my wheel at like 3 degrees backwards. But in order to do that, I would have to go through the app, calibrate the pedals by turning it off, going through the process, the motion, you know what I mean? We're all used to that. Whereas with the Sherman, I didn't need an app at all. And they gave us range. They gave us crazy range. They gave us an option between a street tire and a road tire. I mean, just so much given in such a small package for such a competitive price. So my question is, for example, the Commander is similar. Someone just mentioned, you know, I don't have the specs in front of me, that the battery is a little bit bigger than the Sherman. But my point is, if it's just a little bit bigger, you see what I'm saying? It's just a little bit more bigger, and the price is almost double that. Now you have the S18, which came out, right? The S18 was like, I understand that the Hero, for example, I could see how you could make that argument with the Hero versus the S18, even the KS20 versus the S18. Right. But they're not giving us. I don't think what they're giving us is justifying that price. The $4,000 for the Commander, in my opinion, does not justify what's being given to us.
Well, the starting point would be what, $3,400 or $3,500 for the veteran Sherman as of now. That would be the starting point. So that's the grandfather. That's the precedence. Anything coming after that, they're not going to go backwards. King Song is the only one who decided their number to be under that. Yeah. If we can go to China and buy these wheels, none of us would probably be complaining right now. Honestly. But we can't. So we know they're going to use the pandemic, shipping costs, everything to drive these prices up to go over that Sherman being the precedent for the rest of these new wheels coming. Yeah. Now, King Song with that Hero wheel, it looked like they did the same thing that King Song did with the S18, in my opinion.
Do you have a deposit for one of these wheels?
I have a deposit for two of these wheels.
Which one? Which ones?
I have a deposit for the Commander and the Abrams.
The Commander and the Abrams, really? So why did you choose? Because why would you choose those two? Because the Commander, if you chose that pretty much outshines the need for the Abrams.
No, the Abrams is supposed to be an off-road wheel. It's a 20-inch. It's a 22-inch wheel versus this 20-inch wheel.
But it has no suspension.
No, but it has a higher seating, and that big wheel, depending on how you use it off-road, should give you enough cushion. I don't really think you would need suspension unless you're doing some egregious jumps and dropping down hard, man.
How much do you weigh?
About $180, $190.
190?
Yeah.
And with your gear, how much?
Huh?
When you have your gear on, like your helmet, your jacket, your gloves, how much do you weigh?
I never weighed myself with everything.
Okay.
I never had.
So that's an extra, like I would say, an extra 5-10 pounds, because I don't know if you wear a backpack or whatever. I would say an extra 10 pounds. Yeah. Have you ever cut out on the wheel?
Never. Never.
Do you usually because you have a Sherman, on a nickel, you said? Have you ever pushed those wheels to like close to the limits?
I know what.
Are you an average rider, like average city, like a commuter?
I know what battery sag feels like.
I'm sorry?
I know what battery sag feels like.
Okay.
I haven't gotten the Sherman past 43. I haven't gotten the Nikola past 33.
So what's the point? Why do you get these wheels? Is it for the range?
That's my transportation.
So it's mostly for the range?
At this point, transportation. Yep. And range.
What I meant was, when I say these wheels, I expect that you would get it for transportation, but I meant, like, why would you get such high performance wheels that you only use as mid-range wheels?
No, I'm not just using them as mid-range wheels. I stretch out. As I made statements earlier, I buy cycles. I got a couple bikes. I should pull some bikes up and show you what I ride. I'm part of the cats that do the tour from Philadelphia to Atlantic City.
Okay. Wow.
So it took me a while to be able to stand up like this, but riding 40 miles straight, standing up, it's no big deal.
Well, the good news is all these wheels, you'll be able to sit on them. Right. So last question for you. So you are able, from what I'm getting from you, you're able to justify definitely one, because you have two. You have down payment for two. You definitely can justify purchasing those wheels at that price.
Correct.
Nice.
And I'm not mad at the price. The Commander, I think they're going to adjust that price and bring it down.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it'll eventually be 38.
Okay.
I think it'll be.
What's your justification?
For the 38,
Mm-hmm.
for the turning it down a little bit.
For bringing it down to 38.
Hopefully they listen to us complaining about this new price.
It's a crazy price, man.
Yeah, hopefully they say, well, if we bring it down just a bit, we're still above these other wheels, and Bench, we're bigoted. You know, they're bold guys. We're bigoted. We're still going to capitalize.
Yeah.
After they're looking at the Sherman not being in production, they're going to capitalize on those sales where individuals want those. They have the quote-unquote super Sherman there, and that's going to be a big selling point for them. And I think 38 would be a good price for that wheel.
Awesome. So last question for you. How long have you been riding?
Give me 2 years.
2 years. Okay. Wow. Dude, you're like a forced veteran. You're forcing yourself to be in that realm. 2 years and you've made such huge strides. But dude, congratulations on your down payment. Awesome 2 wheels that you own. The Nicola is an amazing 16-inch wheel? I rode that thing. Is it the 100 volt or the 84 volt?
It's the 84 volt. And listen to this. I can't see the MSX 84 volt going faster than this one. I rode it. I can't get past 33 miles an hour with the MSX, and I'm able to do this one.
So I've had the MSX for a very long time now, the 84 volt, and its max top speed before cutout is 40-41. I don't recommend anyone do 41, but every wheel is every iteration is different. I'm not sure where they got their wheel from. I got mine directly from Gotway with a group buy, so I'm not sure if that has something to do with it. But yeah, I can consistently push that wheel to 40.
This wheel came from Dimitri over there in Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, New York. I know Dimitri.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for calling in, man. You're obviously justifying these prices, and hopefully I can see you riding around. Do you create videos? Do you have a YouTube channel?
I'm working on it. I got some footage. I just haven't put it up yet. And I do be up New York passing through. I just haven't met up with you yet.
What's your channel?
I'm Monty Love on my channel. I haven't really set up monikers.
Okay. All right. Well, since you hopefully will be in the first people who get that wheel, I really hope you post some reviews on it.
Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a good night.
Peace and bless.
Please take care. Wow, that's very interesting, guys. So we have 3 people who are absolutely able to justify these the prices for these wheels. And I myself, I mean, honestly, I don't know where to stand. I know these wheels look great. I just like that, that they listen to us. I like that. Regardless of the price, I like that King Song went all out, it seems. I need to see how King Song is in real life. Like, I need to see how they crash test it. I need to see everything. I need to see how this thing performs because it has really great stats, but nothing beats, real world testing. Also, the Hero, we saw some videos, and let me see if I could go on YouTube here and see if I can get it. But on YouTube, I found that, the Hero was being tested. And I'm sure you guys saw that video too. Let me see. We go a Hero water test. Waterproof test? Is that it? Hold on, that's an ad. All right, so that's from that's EUC Vibes. I'm surprised he's not on tonight on here. He's probably sleeping. But this is from EUC Vibes. So let me see if I can make the screen big here. Yep. Let me share this with you guys. Hold on for a second. Just trying. Oh, whoa. Hold on. There we go. Let me just make this big. All right. that a plate? This thing has a plate. They say do not imitate this operation. That's hilarious. Wow. Well, that was from EUC Vibes. That was from EUC Vibes, guys. Check out his channel. But that's interesting. Wow. Now, what we saw was, so what I noticed was, and I don't know if you guys noticed it, but at the very top of this, the EUC, there's a speaker, and they wet the speaker. So apparently this thing is waterproof as well. But that's just like a quick test. In fact, at the bottom it says, do not, try this operation at home. What we need to see is long-term testing, real testing. But either way, that's ballsy for them to be, putting. I need to see high pressure hose blowing that thing, see if water ingress. But that's a short, quick video. They didn't open it up. We needed to, it would be great if they just opened up one of them so we can see if there was any type of water ingress. You know what I mean? Did water get in there? But either way, hey, they're demonstrating that this thing is waterproof, right? So I don't know what the rating is right now, but in my experience, Gotways have been extremely good in the rain and in crazy situations like, heavy rain. I'm talking about like real heavy rain. But what I like is that the board is at the top, from what I understand. As long as the board is at the top, most of your water ingress is going to come from your motor. If you ride in the rain a lot, it's, this is where you're going to have to expect water to get in, is your motor. But I'm not too worried about water with Gotways. In Motion had some issues. I've never heard of any issues from King Song. And I've definitely never heard of any water problems from Sherman. So good history there with those. But anyway, guys, no one wants to call in. No one else wants to give their thoughts on what's going on. It's a little late. It's 12:22. Guys, I just want to thank you for tuning in. This was the new platform. Hopefully, next time, not hopefully, but I will try to make it earlier next time, so that you guys can go to bed and do what it is that you have to do with your lives. But the goal is to make this a little bit more interactive, like you saw it was. What do you guys think? Did you guys think this was great? I think it was great. We had some great callers, and they gave such great information that we could all use. And when I make a purchase, when I put a deposit, if that window is still open, I'll let you guys know what deposit. My inclination right now is toward because as you guys know, I'm a high performance rider. I coined that phrase for myself. Okay, I know it sounds kind of like hey, that's what I call myself, because I want you to know that so that you could critique me, properly. I like the Commander because of its insane speed and insane range. I like to ride fast, far. Okay, I don't like to worry about, can I make it back home? Do I have to carry my charger? You know what I mean? I'm going on a group ride. Okay, if you look at this guy, his name is David, NYC rider guy. He's kind of light. So I'm not, you know, he tends to have more range than most. But when I rode with him in New York, what he would do, what I had noticed, what he would do sometimes is he would ride really slow in the beginning, and then when he knows like the group ride is coming to an end, then he tags you. He's like, "Come on, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go." And then people with less battery, because they've been going hard all this time, ends up cutting out and crashing. And I noticed that, so I'm like, you know, so. But one thing we can say about these wheels is that the weight is gone. A light electric unicycle seems to be dead. No more portable electric unicycles. It's still portable when you compare it to a car, when you compare it to a scooter. But guys, these are heavy machines now. And not only that, not only they're heavy and they're no longer portable. Now the issue is if you hit someone. Yikes, man. Oh my gosh, like what the freak? Like crashing on one of these is you know, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know, but we'll see. I haven't heard any crazy things about the Sherman. The weight might be a good thing, because with the Tesla, it drove me nuts because it was so light. I pushed that thing. This thing is like, these things are crazy heavy, 77 plus pounds, which tells you that you might respect it a little bit more because it's so heavy. So which might cause you to push it less. So let's see what that translates to. I doubt that will do that for me. I doubt it will do it for crazy riders in New York. I don't say crazy in a negative way, crazy in that they're very, you know, ambitious and cool. But let's just see where this goes, guys. Yeah, hopefully they release a video of the KS20 tomorrow when we wake up. Thank you guys for tuning in. I see Monty's still back there. Monty, have a good night, bro. Take it easy. You wanna say something, Monty, before you leave?
Hey, man, I hope to meet up with you and ride with you one day, bro. You know, really get it in. Once again, expect these wheels to go up to them prices that you've named. Look at them scooters. You can buy under $1,000 scooter, and you can buy a $10,000 scooter. That's true. That's true. Expect it. Yeah, they're going up. They're going up. But like I said, it might be a personal assistant. Talk to you, walk around you in the office, file your notes, you know. File my notes. To justify the price. Yeah. Yeah. So guys, have an awesome night. Monty, have an awesome night. Peace and bless. Take care. Peace and bless.